Imagine this for a moment. You're at home relaxing on your favorite chair, maybe watching TV or reading a book. The day feels calm, ordinary, nothing out of the blue. Then suddenly a heavy pressure builds on your chest. Your breathing becomes shallow, your arm starts to tingle. You're sweating, panicking, and you realize you might be having a heart attack. You reach for your phone, but your hands are shaking. You try to dial 911 but can't remember the numbers in order. You're alone. And the clock is ticking. This is not a rare scenario. In fact, over 380,000 Americans each year suffer heart attacks while alone. What makes this even more concerning is that most of these cases happen at home where no one else is around to help. And here's something most people don't know. Studies show that what you do in the first 60 seconds of a heart attack can dramatically affect your chances of survival. That's right. Just 1 minute can make the difference between life and death. But the sad truth is, most seniors don't know what to do. Many freeze, some panic. Others do things that actually make the situation worse. That's why today's episode is so important. We're going to walk you through 7 simple science-backed actions you can take if you ever find yourself in this terrifying situation. These are not guesses. They are techniques used by doctors, paramedics, and emergency medicine experts across the United States. And they could save your life, or the life of someone you love. Let's begin with something that might seem basic but is absolutely essential. Strategy number 1. Build your emergency communication system. Now, having a phone nearby is not enough. What matters is being prepared before anything happens, because during a heart attack your brain may lose oxygen quickly. In less than 30 seconds, confusion and memory lapses can set in. You might not remember your address. You might forget how to use your phone. That's not a sign of aging, it's a biological response to oxygen loss. So, what can you do right now while you're healthy and thinking clearly? Start by writing down your full home address, including apartment number or unit, if you have one, on a brightly colored index card. Add your phone number, any entry codes, and special instructions for emergency responders. Tape that card next to every phone in your house, landlines and cell phones. Then, program 911 as the number 1 on your speed dial. Sure, you can dial it manually, but when your hands are trembling or you're struggling to focus, pressing one button could be the difference that gets you help faster. Keep your phone charged and within arm's reach at all times, especially at night. Research from the American Heart Association shows that nearly half of fatal heart attacks in older adults happen between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., when most people leave their phones charging in another room. Consider getting a medical alert device, but don't just own it, wear it all the time, even in the shower. Waterproof models may cost a little more, but that small investment can be life-saving. According to the National Institute on Aging, over 30% of seniors who owned a medical alert button weren't wearing it when their emergency happened. And here's something many overlook. Talk to your neighbors. Let at least one trusted neighbor know about your heart condition or any health issues you have. Give them a spare key if you feel comfortable, or at least ask them to check on you if they hear something unusual. If you live in an apartment, make sure your building manager or front desk staff is aware of your situation. Paramedics often lose precious minutes trying to gain access to locked buildings. A neighbor, a manager, a doorman, these people can become the bridge between you and the help that could save your life. That's strategy 1. It's not just about technology. It's about being ready when seconds count. In the next section, we'll talk about a method that sounds strange but could buy you extra time. If your heart rhythm becomes unstable, it's called cough CPR. And while controversial, it has proven value in specific situations. Stay with me. Now let's talk about a technique that many people have heard of but few actually understand: cough CPR. You might have seen this shared in emails or social media posts claiming it can save your life during a heart attack. And while some of those claims are exaggerated, there is real science behind this method when it's used correctly and in the right situation. Cough CPR or cough resuscitation works by creating pressure changes inside your chest cavity. That pressure can help maintain some blood flow to your brain if your heart rhythm suddenly becomes unstable, like during certain arrhythmias. It is not a cure. It's not a replacement for calling 911, but it might buy you a little more time, and every second counts. Here's how it works. If you suddenly feel your heart flutter, beat erratically, or you sense the beginning of a heart attack, but you're still conscious, and that part is key, you can try this technique. First, take a deep breath. As deep as you can. Fill your lungs completely. Then cough. Not a soft throat cough, but a deep, forceful cough, like you're trying to clear something stuck deep in your chest. Repeat this process every 2 seconds. Breathe in deeply, then cough hard. Maintain a steady rhythm. What this does is bring oxygen into your lungs, and through the force of the cough, push blood out of your heart and toward your brain. It's like giving your heart a little manual boost. But please remember, cough CPR is not for everyone and not for every type of heart attack. It only works while you're still alert and conscious, and only during specific types of irregular rhythms, not when a coronary artery is fully blocked. If you try it when it's not appropriate, it could make things worse. That's why you should only use this technique while waiting for emergency help to arrive, and only if you've learned it beforehand, not while panicking in the moment. According to Cleveland Clinic, cough CPR is most effective in the first 30 to 60 seconds of symptoms. You won't have time to look this up while it's happening. So practice the motion now, understand it, and store it in your memory as a tool just in case. Now let's move on to something more familiar: aspirin. Most people have heard that taking an aspirin during a heart attack can help. But very few people know there's a right way and a wrong way to take it, especially when every minute matters. When a heart attack strikes, it's often because a clot has formed inside one of your coronary arteries. That clot blocks blood flow to your heart muscle. Aspirin works by thinning your blood, making it less sticky, and helping to slow or prevent the clot from growing. But here's the part many people miss: you need to chew the aspirin, not swallow it whole. Chewing breaks down the pill faster, allowing the medication to be absorbed directly through the lining of your mouth. This gets it into your bloodstream more quickly. A study from the University of California, San Diego, found that chewed aspirin reached therapeutic levels in just 14 minutes, compared to 26 minutes when swallowed. Those 12 minutes might not sound like much, but when your heart muscle is dying from lack of oxygen, they can mean the difference between a full recovery and permanent damage. The recommended dose is 325 milligrams. That's 1 regular aspirin or 4 baby aspirins. If you only have enteric-coated tablets which are designed to dissolve in your stomach, you should still chew them. Yes, they'll taste bitter, but that bitter taste could be the flavor of survival. Keep aspirin in places where you spend the most time: next to your bed, in your living room, in your car, even in your wallet. Check the expiration dates every 6 months and replace them as needed. And here's one last tip. Many don't know if you're already taking low-dose aspirin daily. You should still take an additional 325 milligrams during a suspected heart attack, unless your doctor has told you otherwise. The daily dose is not enough to stop a clot in progress. That's why preparation is everything. Don't wait until you're in pain to figure out what to do. Know where your aspirin is. Make sure it's accessible. And remember, chew, don't swallow. Let's now dive deeper into a question many people ask, especially those already managing heart conditions. If I have both aspirin and nitroglycerin on hand, which one should I take first during a heart attack? It's a good question, and one that deserves a clear, thoughtful answer based on real medical guidance from trusted American sources like the American Heart Association and the FDA. Here's the truth. In most cases, the first action you should take after recognizing symptoms of a heart attack is to chew an aspirin. Not just any aspirin, but a full dose of 325 milligrams. That's 1 standard tablet or 4 baby aspirins. Why aspirin first? Because it's widely accessible, does not require a prescription, and its ability to reduce clot formation is well established. By thinning your blood quickly, it can help prevent the existing blockage from worsening while you wait for emergency care. And remember, as we discussed earlier, chewing it speeds up absorption, giving you an edge in those first critical minutes. Now let's talk about nitroglycerin. This medication is commonly prescribed to people with known heart conditions, especially those with angina or a history of coronary artery disease. Nitroglycerin works differently from aspirin. It's a vasodilator, which means it relaxes and widens your blood vessels. This reduces the workload on your heart and allows blood to flow more freely through partially blocked arteries. Sounds powerful, right? And it is, but that power comes with a few more rules. Unlike aspirin, nitroglycerin should only be taken if your doctor has specifically prescribed it for you and explained how and when to use it. It's not a one-size-fits-all remedy. If used incorrectly, especially in people with very low blood pressure or those taking certain medications, it can cause a dangerous drop in blood pressure, even leading to fainting or collapse. So if your doctor has given you nitroglycerin and you've been told to use it during chest pain, here's exactly how to do it. First, sit down. That's important. Don't take nitroglycerin while standing or walking. Sitting reduces the risk of fainting due to sudden drops in blood pressure. Place one tablet under your tongue, not on top, not swallowed. Just let it dissolve naturally. You'll likely feel a tingling or burning sensation, which is a sign it's working. Set a timer or count 5 minutes. If your symptoms haven't improved significantly, you can take a second dose. Wait another 5 minutes, and if there's still no relief, you may take a third and final tablet. That's the maximum 3 tablets within 15 minutes. But here's something many people don't realize. If you haven't already called 911, do not wait until after your third dose. You should make that call after the first or second dose, especially if you're still feeling chest pain or discomfort. The medication is not a replacement for emergency care. Also, and this is critical, never take nitroglycerin if you've used medications for erectile dysfunction, like Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra, in the last 24 to 48 hours. The combination can cause a life-threatening drop in blood pressure. Keep a list of all medications you take in your wallet or near your ID so first responders know what's in your system. Transparency can save your life, and now let's clarify the order. If you're having heart attack symptoms and you have both aspirin and nitroglycerin, and you know you've been cleared by your doctor to use both, the best sequence is to chew the aspirin first, then take nitroglycerin while seated, and call 911 as soon as possible. Don't delay emergency care waiting for the medication to work. Time is muscle. The sooner you get help, the more of your heart muscle can be saved. To recap, aspirin is the go-to first step for most people. It's fast, effective, and widely recommended. Nitroglycerin is incredibly helpful, but only when used safely with medical guidance and in the right order. Knowing the difference and having both accessible gives you a real advantage, but only if you've prepared in advance. In the next section, we'll talk about a small change in your body position that could help your heart pump more efficiently during a heart attack, and chances are you've never even thought about it. Stay with me. Let's move on to something that may not seem important at first glance, but could actually buy you precious time while waiting for help. Your body position. Yes, how you position your body during a heart attack can influence how well your heart pumps, how easily you breathe, and even how much oxygen your brain receives. It might sound simple, but it matters more than you think. If you're experiencing symptoms like chest pain, pressure, or shortness of breath, avoid lying flat on your back unless you're about to pass out. Why? Because lying flat can make it harder for your heart to receive returning blood, and it can also restrict your lungs from expanding fully, making breathing more difficult. Instead, sit up at about a 45-degree angle. You can do this by propping yourself against a wall, stacking pillows behind your back on a couch or bed, or even sitting in a recliner. Your knees should be slightly bent with your feet flat on the floor or bed. This position is known as the semi-Fowler's position. It reduces the workload on your heart, helps oxygen circulate more efficiently, and keeps your airways open. Now, if at any point you feel like you're going to faint, don't ignore it. Slowly lower yourself to the ground, using furniture for support if needed. But don't just collapse or fall, that could cause injury. Once on the ground, roll onto your right side and bend your left knee slightly to keep yourself stable. This is called the recovery position, and it's used by first responders all over the world. Why your right side? Because for most people, this position helps keep your airway open and reduces the chance of choking if you vomit, which, by the way, is more common during heart attacks than most people realize. You should also take a moment to loosen any tight clothing. Remove your belt, unbutton your collar, and take off scarves, ties, or anything that restricts your chest or abdomen. A study in the Journal of Cardiac Nursing showed that simply loosening a belt can improve oxygen levels in the blood by as much as 8% during a cardiac event. That's a small action with a big impact. Now that your body is in the best possible position, let's talk about your breath, not just whether you're breathing, but how you're breathing. Because in times of panic, especially during a heart attack, most people start to breathe rapidly and shallowly. This natural response, called hyperventilation, can actually reduce oxygen flow to your heart and brain, making the situation worse. That's why learning how to breathe in a controlled, deliberate way can be one of the most powerful tools you have in an emergency. Here's the technique you should practice every day. It's called diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. Sit in a chair or lie in a slightly reclined position. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. As you breathe in slowly through your nose, count to 4 in your mind. Try to make the hand on your belly rise more than the one on your chest. That tells you you're breathing from your diaphragm, not just your lungs. Hold that breath gently for another count of 4. Then slowly exhale through pursed lips, like you're blowing out birthday candles, to a count of 6. This longer exhale helps slow your heart rate and tells your nervous system to relax. A study from Stanford University Medical Center found that patients who used controlled breathing during a heart attack had significantly less heart muscle damage than those who didn't. The Mayo Clinic also reported that this method can reduce your heart rate by up to 15 beats per minute and lower blood pressure naturally. But here's the key: you must practice it when you're calm. Because when panic hits, your body goes into survival mode, and your mind won't reach for techniques it doesn't already know. That's why I recommend practicing this breathing method for 5 minutes each day. Maybe right after your morning coffee or before bed. Make it a habit, and when the time comes, your body will know what to do. And one last tip: if you're on the phone with 911 during an emergency, try counting your breath out loud. It helps you stay in rhythm, and it lets the dispatcher know you're still conscious and breathing. Coming up next, we'll look at a surprising factor that causes thousands of seniors to lose their lives each year, and it has nothing to do with medication or medical conditions. It's a simple but often overlooked step you can take right now to make sure help can reach you when you need it most. You won't want to miss this. Let's talk about a step most people overlook: unlocking the door. In fact, many seniors die during heart emergencies not because help didn't arrive, but because paramedics couldn't get inside. A national study found that locked doors delayed care by up to 11 minutes. That's enough to change the outcome. So here's what you should do if you feel symptoms: chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness. Don't call 911 first. Unlock your door first. Open it, or at least unlatch it while you still have strength. Many people lose the ability to walk just minutes into a heart attack. Once you're down, you can't get up to open the door. If you live alone, install a lockbox outside and give the code to your local fire department. If you live in an apartment, call the front desk after calling 911. Let them know help is on the way so they can guide responders. Also, turn on every light. A fully lit house is easier to find even during the day. Hang something bright in the window or on the door. And keep a whistle nearby. If you're conscious but can't speak, it can help rescuers locate you. Finally, tape a sheet with your name, medications, and allergies to the inside of your door. This helps paramedics act faster, especially if you're unconscious. Now let's wrap up. You've learned 7 simple, powerful strategies to help you survive a heart attack when you're alone. None of them require fancy tools. What they need is preparation. You can't afford to figure things out during the emergency. You must prepare before it happens. So, start today. Practice slow breathing every morning. Keep aspirin and medical info within reach. Ask your doctor about nitroglycerin if needed. Program emergency contacts. Make sure your door can be opened quickly. And review these steps monthly like a safety drill. If this information helped you, share it. Post it on your fridge. Talk about it with friends. If you or someone you know has survived a heart scare, leave a comment. Your story might help someone else. Remember, the average ambulance takes 8 to 12 minutes to arrive. These 7 steps can help keep you alive in the meantime. Stay safe, be prepared, and never underestimate the power of 1 minute.